So,
welcome to the Ron and John Show, brought to you by Veterans Lending Group, and I'm Ron.
And I am John. This is the Ron and John Show. Hey, at the Ron and John Show, we're known coast to coast like butter and toast. We can make ISIS surrender or die, or make even the nerdiest guy look kind of fly. We can drink like we've been singing all night long, and we can sing like we've been drinking all night long. So if you're looking for a good time, don't you delay. Tune into the Ron and John Show. Me and this Ranger, we lead the way. Boom!
Boom! Back at it again. Welcome back to another Ron and John Show, where I am Ron.
And I am John, and it's good to have you. Show number 31, week 31.
Week 31, brother. Can you believe that? We just keep them going, keep it climbing.
Keep rolling along, man. Just keep rolling. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good to see you again, as we do every week. But I know you've been bouncing around. You know how you been going, brother? I mean, you've been on fire.
Yeah,
it's like you're the SEAT training trouble again.
Yeah, I had to do last week's show from Pinehurst, North Carolina. I was there with the Patriot Foundation. You know, a foundation that supports Gold Star families and everything. And came back, and then Monday had to do it took a 4-hour video photo shoot for Zen, drinks. To our audience. They're coming to your commissary soon. And I know you've had some of the Zen drinks. It's a good drink, but more importantly,
good stuff.
It's got curcumin from turmeric in it. It's a good immune booster, anti-inflammatory. But dude, I will tell you, in that 4 hours, I did enough burpees, deck squats, and bear crawls because I had to combine PT with, the fuel from the drink. I did enough of those for an entire platoon, dude. It was a workout, man, but that was good. And yesterday I was over at 1st Corps headquarters with 5th Military Public Affairs Detachment. Going to do a series of videos on leadership, and then today I was with our old friends Centurion Company 2-1 for a leadership seminar. So been a good week, man.
That's been awesome. You? Oh, brother, just head down, doing some training and getting things a little bit tighter with the way that we're being able to reach veterans and everything right now. It's really interesting the roles that we have with this election. Obviously, well, not only is it crazy, but it sucks up all these ad dollars, right? So we have to get look at things a little bit differently. So we brought the whole team in, assembled, disassembled, and reverse engineered some stuff that we're looking forward to kind of put together tomorrow. Been hard at it on PT. Again, I gotta say, I have been building my muscle car, but I know as soon as I get around you in the near future, it's we're gonna burn all that stuff up. So
hey, those muscles are pretty. They're real pretty. But they won't get you through all that altitude in Colorado Springs, man, when we're doing those dang side planks in the TRX.
Exactly. And I know that's coming. I know that's coming. But, every time that you raise your arms up and stuff, I feel like, I like Minnie Mouse over here. Like I need to be like the other what's that other little mouse that flies around? Anyway, Mighty Mouse. That's
Mighty
the one.
Mouse. Yeah. And so it's interesting. We're really building the Ron and John Show here, Ron.
Yeah.
And now we're on YouTube and and we're on Apple Podcasts now and Spotify. Man, what are your thoughts on that, man?
Man, yeah, that's we talked about it before, and we ran it by the team, and the next thing a couple days later they filed everything, and now Spotify, we're at Apple, we're on I feel like we got to get all these platforms down and come up with another rhyme, just like we do for Zen and for the macaroni and cheese, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's fantastic. The more outlets that we have, the more platforms that people can reach us whatever they're comfortable with, and that's really what it's about is getting the word out there, getting these messages, because you never know who it's going to resonate with.
Yeah, and we got a kind of a promotional poster to show too, don't we?
We sure do have a promotional poster to show, and Victoria, how about popping that up so we can show everybody what we got going on with our Spotify and our Apple Podcasts, and we're ripping on with our gift that we've got.
Hey,
which all you
man.
all have to do is jump in and download any of those apps and pop in Ron and John show, and we'll pop up all of our past episodes and each live one.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, so we hit a significant landmark this week, with the eTool Nation.
huge.
I signed number 1,000. The 1,000th eTool since it all started with Surrender or Die on a rooftop in a house in Raqqa, Syria, and so a young trooper, PFC Waits, his dad, Phil Waits, who raised two sons that are both in the military. Phil Waits is number 1,000. So congratulations to him and to the eTool Nation.
Awesome.
We're 1,000 strong. And the other thing that's good, Ryan, is last week, during show number 30, we gave away a free signed Ron and John show eTool, and I
We
think
sure
we ought to
did.
announce the winner here.
Let's do it.
Vic, can you pull up the winner? Oh man,
There
John
he is.
Webster.
None other than
Congratulations.
Mr. John Webster.
Hey, let me
Now
tell you,
you-
I know Webster very well.
I was gonna say,
Webster
you know-
was one of my guys
Okay.
in 4th Stryker Brigade 2ID. Big old grizzly bear, squad leader and platoon sergeant. And I will tell you, when you talk about the epitome of a war-fighting infantryman, that was Webster. You've seen him, he's a big old guy.
Oh
but,
yeah.
I mean, he was just his command presence, the way he led by example and everything in combat, during the surge in Iraq in 2007 and 8. Just a phenomenal leader, phenomenal guy. And excited to tell him that he has won the Ron and John Show eTool. So
Yeah, there he
congratulations, John Webster. And
John Webster, congrats. There he is. Woof, woof.
Hey, Ron, you brought up a great point, and it's kind of the gist of our show tonight. You and I spend a lot of time on the road and a lot of time visiting with not just the Army, but the Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, and everything, and talking about transition and how you retain that purpose outside the military and how you can broaden your personal brand and build on your personal wealth and the pursuit of happiness for your family. And, we talk about how we work with a lot of organizations, a lot of companies that are assisting veterans and everything. So it's a treat to have the guests we have tonight, man. So who do we got tonight, brother?
Yeah. It is a treat. And tonight we have, which we actually first met virtually tonight all together as well. I've been talking to him for a while, but Jake Tozier from Bunker Labs. And so Jake is a 14-year Army veteran and an aviator. He got out in 2014 and launched his first company, Tozier Media. And in 2016, he got involved with Bunker Labs with launching the Seattle chapter. He's currently the National Director of Entrepreneurship for Bunker Labs and has also launched his new business, Tacoma Sauce Company. So please give a warm welcome for Mr. Jake Tozier.
Yeah.
There he is.
That's a good intro. I'll give you the money I owe you later for that.
I had to put my voiceover voice on, right?
Yeah, good. I like it. No, that's awesome. All that PT talk and high altitude training got me having flashbacks now.
Yeah, brother. Well, welcome to the show. Man. How are you? And where are you coming at us from?
So I'm in this side of the room is Bunker Labs HQ West Coast, and this other room's my Tacoma Sauce Company. This is how we do it COVID style right here.
Yeah. Nice. So it's all co-located there for you, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Nice. Well, if we always like to start it off and kick it off, just kind of getting to know our guests. So I knew you were Army veteran. The aviator part caught me off guard when I was reading the bio a while ago, because we've had actually another interesting officer that doesn't act like an officer too much, Griff, right? Yeah. So tell us, man, how did you go from your career in the military and then jumping into entrepreneurship?
Well, I started my career back in 1999, I kind of got interested in joining the military in high school when I was in Germany. Like, I'm a military brat too. My father served. So I joined the Army right out of high school at 17 years old and became a MLRS, multiple launch rocket system operator. I really enjoyed that. I had a fun time doing that. And then I ran into somebody that was a warrant officer aviator and befriended him. And he took a liking to me and really showed me the ropes on the benefits and how to apply for the warrant officer aviation program. And I did it, and I, to my surprise, got picked up on the first look and back in 2004, and was off on my way to Fort Rucker, Mother Rucker, to become a warrant officer. And a couple weeks later, I'm flying helicopters. It's crazy. I mean, I think it really blows everybody's mind how quick they get you in that cockpit. So I did that. I spent some time at Fort Rucker, and then went to the 101st Airborne Division, 6 Bat, Pachyderms, and was able to deploy with them in Afghanistan and support the troops there. It was probably the best, and I think that was probably the best time in my career, really. I returned from there. I had an opportunity to serve as an aviation liaison officer out here at JBLM, and then just fell in love with the Pacific Northwest. Just fell in love with it. It's a lot like home. I'm from the Northeast, but we get to trade a little rain instead of all the snow that we have up there. So, I just fell in love with it here. I just really did. And then my last tour was down in Honduras doing counter drug missions for a year. And then after that, I decided it was time to, like all of us do at some point, all of us have to transition at some point. I just felt like it was time for me, and returned back up here to start entrepreneurship, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Jake, what was the driving decision? A lot of times, as Ron and I go around and we talk to transitioning service members, especially those that are either getting out after their first term or retiring, talking to them about having a plan and everything. So what drove you down the road to say, I want to go do something else, proud of my military service, but I want to go do something else. And did you know up front that you wanted to be an entrepreneur?
That's a really good question. I get to ask that a lot, though. Some people are like, "You're crazy, man. You had 6 years left. What were you thinking?" But I don't see it that way.
Yeah.
I think in terms of being a pilot and an aviator with 32 packs on board, your heart and your mind's got to be in it all the time. You're responsible for a lot more than you. And
Yeah.
I just think if your heart and mind isn't in it, it's probably time to think about doing something else. And I was just there. I was there, and after many deployments and my family being in Washington, I was just ready to take what I've learned and continue the journey. I really didn't see it as ending something. I really saw it as this is one chapter. I've learned a lot about myself, becoming a professional, and how can I apply those skills, on my next chapter. It was really how I saw it. I think a lot of people that have been out for a couple of years share that same kind of insight of why they decided to get out and move on from their military service. I find that. Yeah. I don't know. But
so did you know right away that you wanted to be an entrepreneur when you got out, or how did that happen?
Well, I think, being a warrant officer for a while, I thought it was going to be really difficult to work for somebody. Those
damn warrant officers, man, I'll tell you.
So I wasn't really sure. I initially, when I first got out, I had savings, and I had, a cushion. And I immediately applied for school. So I went to school. And I've always been interested in digital art and graphics and doing stuff like that. So I went and got my Adobe Suite certificate, and warrant officers. I mean, this is how warrant officers do it. So I went to school, and I was going to get my Adobe certificate, and I was like, oh my God, I don't fit in here. These are all a bunch of 18, 19-year-olds here. So I asked the teacher, I was like, hey, if I create my own company, can I just do the work, the assignments that are required to pass the course as real work in my company and just turn it in as assignments? And he was like, that sounds like a great idea. And so I probably spent maybe, I don't know, 10 or 15 days in the actual class. And I was just off starting my first company and getting a taste of entrepreneurship. Yeah. So that's kind of how I, applied myself to school and just got the bug for entrepreneurship, really.
Yeah, nice. There's a lot of veterans, well, people in general, but veterans especially that, at least in my experience, that want to do their own thing, right? They want to start their own business. They figure they're going to go work for a company for a little bit, and then when they're at a company, that they realize I'd rather just do this myself, right? Now, for which that number, as you know, is very high. But the experience level that people have going into that industry, that success rate is rather low for a lot of reasons. But when with it, that first time that your first company, right? Is that your last company, and describe what that entrepreneurship and what it really means to be an entrepreneur. Number one, as a motivator, and also probably as a warning.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I mean, the numbers are staggering. I mean, I think since 9/11, there's been almost 4 million veterans getting out of the service. And, I think you even said it on the promo, like 25% of those identify that they want to be an entrepreneur, but only 5% are successful. So, I mean, that was the reason Bunker was created, was to fill that gap. Like, why is there such a gap between wanting to be an entrepreneur and actually launching a company? And we found out, through other studies, not just on Bunker Labs, that it, really when a veteran or military spouse transitions back to home or a new location, it's like they've been gone forever. They've lost their internal networks or resources that they possibly could have had. So that's the number one thing that we try to do first in Bunker Labs, is saying, hey, you're welcome. This is where you belong. And don't worry, everybody here is just like you. We're on this journey together. But to your question, to your point, entrepreneurship, I don't think entrepreneurship is specifically just like starting a company, someone that's a founder starting a company. I believe it's more of a mindset and the way you approach situations, and the way you not just approach, but handle situations, and how you look at the world as holistic. Like everything is gearing towards a specific goal that you're trying to achieve. For example, I know a lot of entrepreneurs that get to a level where their company has kind of outgrown them, and they don't personally have that executive level experience, and they've actually hired temporary CEOs while they go out and get that C-level, that C-suite experience, and then come back into the company. That doesn't mean they're a failure or they've left their entrepreneur journey. No, they've actually gone to get more tools in order to be successful and bring that back to their team. So yeah, it's more of a journey and a mindset than actually starting a company, which is a big part of it too, believe me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Jake, take us through the journey of Bunker Labs, how the idea came up, and then talk about, because I'm sure the road to getting where you're at now hasn't been all beer and Skittles, that you've hit some turning or blocking obstacles. Kind of talk us through the journey of Bunker Labs.
Yeah, I mean, Bunker Labs was started in 2014 by our founder, Todd Connor, and he started his own company in Chicago, Illinois. And just through reflecting on that experience, he was like, man, we've got to be able to fill this gap. And initially it was just kind of local meetups where they would meet around beer and with like-minded individuals, and try to introduce them to some of his personal contacts in Chicago in the business world. It quickly gained traction, like, oh, we need to replicate this in other cities. And from 2014 to 2015, I'd say the end of 2015, there was 8 active chapters across the nation.
Yeah.
Really not knowing what we're doing. We're just trying to connect people, right? There wasn't really this company like it is now, this national nonprofit. It was like a lot of T-shirts and Jameson shots and a lot of inspiration and exactly, yeah. But as we grew, the spotlight kind of shined on us, and we started getting really great national partners like JP Morgan and Smith, JP Morgan, and WeWork, and the Schultz Family Foundation and stuff like that. And with that, you have to kind of grow up, right? You got to kind of come out of this teenage mindset of entrepreneurship to like, no, we don't only represent the military community, but we do represent our funders as well. And we have really grown up. Like we've nationalized our organization instead of this patchwork of different kind of chapters where like everybody falls under the same 501c3. We have a 3-year strategy. We have an advisory board. We have an actual board with programs that can hopefully help carry you from the whole life cycle, from inspiration to wanting to be an entrepreneur, to making your first dollar, to growing your company and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So how does it work? For example, I mean, from entry to, going through the process to, that exit strategy, if you will, because as an entrepreneur, there's always an exit strategy of some sort. What does that look like? Let's just take, for example, someone that's transitioning out of the military, like yourself, or one of the many folks that John and I speak with.
Sure. Yeah. So this is a great example here, being in the Pacific Northwest, because we actually have partnered with Business Impact Northwest and the Veteran Business Outreach Center, and we're able to present the community of Bunker Labs to the Boots to Business course on Post. So for a lot of people here at JBLM, that might be their first interaction or knowledge of this organization. But however you hear about the organization, the best way to get involved is through our online platform, which is bunkeronline.org. And there you'll find not only it's kind of Facebook or just like social media platform where you have a news feed, but you also have resources and networks internal to the platform with tons of other entrepreneurs, thousands, as a matter of fact, across the nation, as well as our suite of programming. Which would start with our flagship program, which is Launch Lab Online. And that right there is that 0 to 1 stage entrepreneur. It's like, do I have an idea, and is it worth pursuing? And we do that 2 ways. We have what's called a me canvas, which really is like self-reflection. It's like, do I have the finances? Do I have the support structure? Do I have my family on board before I jump off this cliff of entrepreneurship? And really, that's probably the most important thing. A lot of entrepreneurs jump off and they spend their life savings, their family's patience, and whatnot before they even know if it's something that can make money. So we try to handle that first, and then we have what a lot of entrepreneurs or people in the business world know is a business model canvas, and it really helps you optically see your vision, like your idea, your customers, your revenue model, and all those things like in front of you. It's an organic document that kind of helps you get your ideation into some reality and some minimal viable product that you can actually launch and make your first dollar. So that's like the introduction into entrepreneurship.
Nice.
So Jake, we talked about what was in front of you on that side of where you're at. Let's talk about behind you.
Yeah.
And the hot sauce. Talk about how that came about.
Yeah. So this would be like my 3rd attempt. I always say attempt at business. They're all fun. They were fun. They were an experience. But so my first one, you guys know, Tozier Media. I started a branding company, and it did pretty good. It was like I was a solopreneur. I just was like self-employed. A lot of us are, which is fine. And then my second one, I tried to do a shared space app for people that wanted to book offsite meeting spaces. It was called Offsite. And that epically failed during, it's kind of like the app bubble. Like people were kind of like just worn out with apps. But during the whole time, I've always had this passion for hot sauce. I love hot sauce. I love eating, like most of us, I think. And I just saw, why not turn this hobby and see if it has any legs to run into a business, and just capitalizing on all my social capital that I've been building over the years with the circles that I've been in and my business knowledge. I was like, let's go for it. So I launched what is now known as Tacoma Sauce Company. You can find it online. We are sold out right now. That's a good thing. It's a good problem. But we will have more for the Christmas season. But yeah, so I really, I had the benefit of seeing hundreds and hundreds of companies every year come through Bunker Labs. And like, I really love companies that have tangible products and items that you can hold and touch and consume or to use. That's my passion more than like software or whatever, which are great companies and industries too. But there's something about making something that people want to use and consume. That's just, I don't know. There's an intimate like relationship between, consumer and the business kind of thing. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but it's looking good so far.
And how long has the hot sauce business been in circulation now?
Yeah, so this batch is me and my wife actually grew ourselves. So we had a 20 by 20 plot, and we grew all the peppers and pretty much all the vegetables except for the ginger and garlic. And then this is a fermentation process that we do. So a lot of hot sauces are cooked down in vinegar base. Our sauces are actually, we take all the vegetables, process it, put it in fermentation containers, which we do about a month and a half.
Oh, wow.
And what that does is two things. It helps bring down the pH, so the shelf life is long. It can last in the shelf and in the fridge for a long time. And then also it trades heat for taste or flavor. So instead of like smacking in the face habaneros, it still has that great habanero taste, but spice, but it tastes very good. So we actually launched, I can show you this. Like, I just got this in the mail from the Secretary of State, like officially on the 2nd of November. But
nice.
But we've been at it for about, I don't know, 6 months. Oh, hold on.
Uh-oh. There it goes.
Hold on.
Get your S6.
I know, right? I'm still with. Can you hear me though?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
1 second.
Where's the crew chief when you need him, right?
Right.
Right. Oh man.
Well, you can. How can people find your sauce? Is there a website? We'll pop that up on our.
Yeah, you can go to Tacoma Sauce or tacomasauce.com.
All right.
I apologize for this.
tacomasauce.com. We'll pop that up for our audience here.
I'm trying to see if I can get my other camera to work here. Sorry, guys.
So while you're trying to do that, Jake, there you are.
There we go.
So when you made the decision to go with the Tacoma hot sauce, obviously in starting any business, there's risk associated with it, and you try to mitigate the risk. You make try to make an informed decision on the direction you're going to go. When you launched this, how were you feeling? Did you sense this was going to be successful? I mean, you're sold out right now, which, as you said, is a good thing. But where were you at when you started? You went down this road.
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I'm glad you asked it because I'm in the mentality, and this was learned, through failure, is aim small, miss small, right? Mm-hmm. Like I do have these grand ambitions, and it's great to think like, man, we could be $1 million company or whatnot, but that's great, right? But in order to be successful, you've got to approach every situation and tackle it one at a time. And if you aim small and you miss small, you fail small because you're going to fail. You're going to fail a lot. Yeah. But if you put all your eggs and your money and your capital and your effort into like one effort and it fails, it could just topple you. It could ruin your company. Yeah. So that's what and those are lessons learned. That's the approach I took with Tacoma Sauce Company. Is just like, like work on one thing at a time. take a little bit of calculated risk, like do some risk mitigation.
Yeah.
But you do have to understand that you're going to have to risk some things. And honestly, if you're not willing to risk, nobody else is. So when you're going to try to find, capital at some point, or partners or whatever, you have nothing to show. If you didn't risk anything, why would they want to like risk what they have to support your cause? So risk is a good thing. But like you said, like, to mitigate it at all costs is the approach you should take. But there is risk involved for sure.
Yeah. So one of the things I talk about as I was doing my transition is, I focused on, dreaming big, setting lofty but attainable goals, visualizing, getting after those goals, and then going out and doing the things necessary to actualize that.
Absolutely.
Does that apply? Does that kind of model apply in entrepreneurship?
100%. Yeah. I mean, I read a lot. I'm an avid reader. I think anybody that's serious about anything they're trying to pursue, they should read as much as possible. And a lot of books about entrepreneurship or just leadership in general is doing that. It's setting, like, we use it. There's a system called the Entrepreneur Operating System. And it's based off a book called Traction, if anybody wants to read it. And they talk about in there, it's like setting rocks, like quarterly rocks. And a rock is something that is attainable goal that you're going to be able to accomplish within 1 quarter. And then underneath those rocks are your to-dos. And to-dos are 1 week out, 1 week goals. Yeah. So I really try to do that as well. I'm an avid believer in journaling. So, and I learned this from Griff. Griff's like, Griff always telling me to journal is like, just write down your 3 must-dos for tomorrow. Focus on those. Don't let anything else get in the way until those things are accomplished, and just approach one day at a time, right? Knock out those to-dos, those weekly to-dos, to be able to reach those quarterly rocks or those goals, and then keep moving forward. I think the most important thing to note, though, is distractions. It's like you've got to be able to be laser focused and like set on those goals and those targets. If it doesn't apply to reaching those goals, like, forget it. Like, shelf it. Like, make it a rock next quarter, right? But like, let's focus what's ahead of us right here.
Nice.
Awesome.
Right. You mentioned something earlier about your social capital, right?
Yeah.
And just because one of the things that we talk about a lot is networking, knowing your worth, knowing and those what you have access to, resources to, like, heck, just the conversation the other day with you and I, right? But how would you describe social capital, and how, and number one, how can someone build that, and how can they use that later in their career?
Yeah. I mean, this took a little learning. Well, I think it came from being a warrant officer. It's just always having your eyes and ears peeled, right? And always building that network. I mean, from warrant officer school, that they just hammered it into us, the importance of like looking around the room, seeing the importance of the team mentality, and everybody's an expert in something, you're not. And to be able to have that in your back pocket at times of need that you never know is in the future is so important. It's so valuable. And in warrant officer, we call it the wolf pack. But in entrepreneurship, I like to call it social capital. And I think just be present, right? I think the best thing a leader can do is less of this and more like listening and absorbing and being at the table. And when you do speak, speak intelligently and on the subject matter. But no, I'm an avid believer that social capital is 10 times, 100 times more valuable than any kind of financial capital that you can ever get. I mean, when you asked earlier, like, how comfortable did I feel about this being a success? I feel really comfortable. And it's not because I have $1 million in the bank supporting Tacoma Sauce. It's because I have 1 million friends and partners and potential, connections and networks that are going to like be my cheerleaders and like my advocates for making sure this is success. Like, that's how Tacoma Sauce is going to be successful. And really, that's how any entrepreneur is going to be successful. I don't know about you, but I've never like achieved anything by myself ever.
Right.
Team. It's always been somebody helping me out. So, I mean, you've got to have that mentality in entrepreneurship as well. It's like, this isn't a solo sport, bud. This is like, it's gonna take some time and some partnerships and some, some long nights and phone calls with other people. And entrepreneurship's a very lonely journey at times, most of the time. So anytime that you can connect with another entrepreneur, like just to lean on sometimes is valuable.
Yeah. Hey, so Jake, talk us through kind of your battle rhythm now. You're balancing some stuff there, you know, and everything. Kind of talk us through what's a day in the life of Jake Tozier like, you know, on handling the businesses you're involved in now.
Yeah, that so I mean, so as an entrepreneur director, I'm solely responsible. My biggest priority is our veterans and residents program, and this program is in partnership with WeWork. A lot of you might know, and that program we have 22 in-person residencies across the nation, and those consist of 8 entrepreneurs that get free dedicated workspace at WeWork, and then we, Bunker Labs, help with the resources network and accountability and stuff. So that's my main priority, along with my colleague and my co-director, Ann Cordona, on the East Coast. So every day we help facilitate those huddles because they're now virtual because of the COVID.
Yeah.
And those are usually 90 minutes long. So on a given day, I attend 2 to 3 of those huddles a day, trying to just keep an ear out and help provide, resources that they can't collectively, organically solve or provide themselves.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of Zoom meetings. You know how those go.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Zoom meetings. We're growing as an organization, and we're not immune to COVID either as an organization. So we've been really fortunate to have amazing funders that have doubled down and seen the importance that, you know, who's going to solve this are entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. Entrepreneurs are the ones that are going to solve our nation's problems for real. So they've been very gracious to double down on us. So there's a lot of meetings with funders, a lot of meeting with potential partners, and then strategizing for next year. I mean, next year we're going to have 30 veterans and residents across the nation supporting entrepreneurship. So busy time. Actually, we've been busier than ever because I think, you know, with a lot of people have more time. And with more time, more thinking, and they're like, wow, you know, maybe I can take a shot at this entrepreneurship journey. So we've been really busy with intake. And then at night, I do Tacoma hot sauce stuff, usually before I go to bed. So
yeah,
not much sleep, but it's okay. I've never been a big sleeper.
So you're not executing fighter management like you did when you were a pilot then, huh?
No, I need to. I'm checking out, guys. No, we were just talking about that. Like, hey, there's got to be something to this. Like, I'm zoomed out. Like, I've got to have a clock on how many Zoom meetings I can take, man.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah.
You know, so one of the things that, and you've probably seen this in you know, or heard John and I talk about, you know, the PME hard side of it, you know, the physical, being physically, mentally and emotionally strong and with their fitness. You know, you don't look like you sit around eating, you know, Krispy Kremes all day. So at what point, and I, you know, your main picture is you out there getting after a hike. So what does that look like for you? How important is it to be physically, mentally and emotionally tough and fit, being an entrepreneur?
Oh, it's super important. Like I'm lucky. Like household 6 over here is a vegetarian, so like we don't really buy much meat. Like meat's on like special occasions, you know what I mean? So so we eat really healthy. I mean, I think diet's probably 90% of health. You know, 10% is like physical activity, which we do enough as well. Me and my wife are avid hikers and backpackers, so we like to spend our time in the outdoors, just hitting the trails and, you know, staying fit that way. Even though I should be probably doing a little more. But yeah, I know it's holistic. Like if you're not feeding your mind, if you're not feeding your belly the right stuff, your mind the right stuff, your body the right stuff, I mean, you're not going to feel good, right? Like, I mean, that's just common sense, right?
You got a virtual hug right now, brother.
Oh yeah.
But you know, like, I mean, I got hurt when I was in the Army, so I used to be an avid runner, like a 11-minute 2-miler guy. But yeah, I just run, and I'm almost 40 now. And my birthday's coming up soon. I'll be 38 this year, but almost 40. So running is really hard on me. So I tend to stick to the backpack and hiking. I really can go a farther distance and enjoy it. I think that's a big part too, is like when you get out that, I really didn't enjoy going to PT every morning, but like finding something that you enjoy doing, you find a lot more rewarding. And I love just being with nature, and it's like my church, man. It's like, I got to get some nature sometimes and just relax and just like shed off everything that's going on in the world and just focus on one foot in front of the other. So.
Yeah, I just did a leader seminar with a unit up on JBLM today, and I told them, I said, I know how unit PT can be sometimes. It can be precision organized grab ass, and you're not getting a lot out of it. So you have to have a personal fitness program, or a program that will allow you to get after your own personal fitness, whether it's hiking, biking, running on your own or whatever. And it's so refreshing, Jake, to hear you talk about how important physical fitness is being an entrepreneur, because the more physically fit you are, the more mentally and emotionally you can deal with adversity, especially when it comes to the ups and downs of being in the business and corporate world. And then the ability to think critically, because you've got gut health, and everything. It does my heart proud to hear you say that, brother.
You know what? I mean, I'm not a brain scientist, but I'm pretty sure that the part of your brain that reacts to fight or flight or any kind of, situation where you need to have critical thinking skills is the same thing for like physical activity, being aware, being ready, as it is being like book smart, but it's all encompassing. You got to be healthy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
One of the things that when I was, took my first jump into entrepreneurship.
I can interrupt you right quick, Ron, since we're talking about health.
Yeah.
Another beer. Sorry about that, brother. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Oh, that's great. I love that. A lot of entrepreneurs, at least the ones that like you talked about before, that have a big idea, they want to jump in feet first. That was me all the way. But what would you say to this line here? Do your day job but work your side hustle.
Absolutely. So 100%. So our founder, actually, Todd Connor, he just wrote a book called Third Shift Entrepreneur, and it really highlights this. So a lot of people make the mistake of like, get business credit cards, like get an office, spend all this money on swag, and then they don't even have a product really, you know what I mean? And they just go out, they just dive in head first without any kind of strategic plan or anything approach to it. And I'll tell you right now, that's not the way to do it. Like, you should work on your business or your idea as a side hustle until you can replace your income. You should not dive in like that. I mean, there is success stories, of people like putting it all online, all on credit card, making it, but that's very few. The companies that survive are the ones that take it slow, take a real risk mitigation approach to things, treat it as a side hustle, keep your main job. You got to keep the roof over your head. You got to keep your kids fed, right? Take risks, but don't risk that. You know what I mean? You should take a very slow approach to it until you can replace your permanent income. I mean, that's just common sense as well. But people just get so, and I do too. I get super excited about the idea of being successful, the idea of having this big company. And I'm lucky I got the good idea fairy, like, killer inside the house. She like has that job ready. Like, it's so funny. Like, I'm always like, hey, babe, oh man, I got this idea. She's like, I don't want to play this game today. She's like, call Griff or somebody, he'll play with you. But that's important too. It's like to have that partner in crime, be it your life partner or being it a business partner, someone to keep you grounded. Because if you're just in an echo chamber, everything sounds good, right? And you're just you're just your own fan in there, like cheering yourself along right off the cliff, right? So to have people like Mike Stedman or Griff, or, it's that team mentality again, right? Is to keep you grounded, to say, yeah, it's a great idea. Or like, how are you going to approach that? Or, or no, that's stupid. Don't do that. I've done that. Like, that's a horrible idea. Does that answer your question?
It does. Yeah, that's right. People need to hear that more often because, we were in Goodfellow Air Force Base a couple months ago, and there was this I think it was a master sergeant who was retiring, had hot sauce barbecue stuff and everything like that, and was getting ready to kind of make that jump and that transition. But they had already built some traction along the way because they had a lot of folks in there that he had been working with. But I just remember thinking, man, that was not the time to be jumping in and have an entrepreneurial like, hey man, just watch out for this, that, and the other. But but for people to, before they walk into it, what are the things I need to take care of? What's important? Family. Do you have that type of support? And going through and checking all those blocks. And I just think it's fantastic what y'all are doing, how you support, how you train, how you educate, because without those things, we've all seen it before. It's a house of cards, right?
Yeah. The one thing I would caution people is like, don't rely on other people though. You know what I mean? Like having that social capital doesn't mean they're going to do it for you. Mm-hmm. Like my good friend Justin Walker just wrote a book. Let me see if I got a copy of it. It's really good, actually. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I have a copy here, but one of his chapters is "Don't be an asshole." Right? So like, everybody knows what that is. Like, don't ask for support or advice or guidance if you're not going to do it. Like,
there you go, an asshole. Gotcha.
But no, my advice is like, if you really believe in something, get a support system around you. Take it slow. Find out if you have something, a minimal viable product that can actually sell and you have customers, and then go for it. I mean, go for it and take those, risk mitigation steps when you're deploying your ideas, your strategy, and just go for it. Why not? Don't risk the whole bank, but make some calculated risks. Talk to your partner. Believe me, a lot of people do stuff without talking to the partner. When you're making these risks, like you're risking their stuff too. So like I believe they absolutely have a say. If you're married or have a life partner, they absolutely have a say in decisions like this, because they're going to affect that. But go for it. What's stopping you, right? I mean, jump into Bunker Labs too. That's what we're here for. We're here as a sounding board. Is like, hey, yeah, you're amongst like-minded individuals that have done this before. Starting a business isn't rocket science. The hard part is the grit. You have the grit and the determination and the fortitude to get out there and believe in yourself and believe in your product and push it. That's the only thing that's going to stop. The only thing that's going to stop you is you.
Yeah.
That's it. Guaranteed. Like there's tons of like outside influences that or whatever that are trying to destroy your progress. Like, don't help it. Right. Like the only way you can ensure failure is to stop in the tracks and not do it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Jake, you mentioned Iron Mike Stedman. Mike was a guest on the Ron and John show here a couple months ago. Kind of talk to us about how you all met. I mean, here you have an Army warrant officer and a guy that went to the Naval Academy and was a Marine. How did you all meet and become such close friends?
Oh man, Mike's the man, dude. I love Mike. So I met through Bunker Labs. I mean, he's been involved with Bunker Labs. He was nice. He went through our Veterans in Residence program a couple cohorts ago in New York City. And then he came on board, actually helping facilitate Veterans in Residence through WeWork. And now he's still helping out. We still have him on contract to help out with some of our communication strategies with podcasts and stuff like that. And just through that connection, I just fell in love with the guy. It's hard not to. He's just so motivated. Like anytime I'm down, I just call Mike, and he's just like, he just motivates me. And I think we just have similar passions. Like we have a passion to give back to our community. He does that not only through Bunker Labs, but through his nonprofit boxing gym for youth. And I think we both have a product for like, seeing an idea. Like it's so inspirational. I'm so lucky to see so many companies come from just like someone's it'd just blow your mind the things people are working on, and where they come up with these ideas, and to be part of that journey is an honor. Like, it's just an honor. Like, I love it. I mean, I'm addicted to it. You know, I'm addicted to entrepreneurship. It's a problem now.
Yeah.
It's just
Ron, you think we ought to hit Jake with some rapid fire here?
I think it's time. Oh yeah, I think we got to hit him up.
All right. Hey, brother, what we're going to do is we're going to get off kind of topic a little bit, and we're going to get after a little bit of Jake Tozier here. So, you know, the relationships between warrant officers, specifically pilots, and first sergeants and sergeants majors can be a contentious relationship. Can you kind of give us a good warrant officer, Jake Tozier, kind of engagement with one of your first sergeants or sergeant majors? You know, like maybe if they were, I'm sure you know how warrant officers are. They told you to get a haircut or something like that, or something. You got any good stories, good anecdotes that can show the warrant officer, first sergeant, sergeant major relationship?
I got some advice for future warrant officers out there in the engagement. So warrant officer rule number 1: bring 2 hats to work. Right? That's why you leave a hat on your desk. When they're like, "Well, where's Mr. Tozier?" I'd be like, "Well, he's got to be here somewhere. His hat's here." Right? That's rule number 1. Bring 2 hats to work. And then the second thing is, like, I mean, I always got busted for my hands in my pocket. It's a warrant officer thing. But you got to be quick with the, like, you got to, like, have something ready, like your keys or whatever. And you're just going to be like, "Oh, there they are. There they are." Right? So that's, I've had some, but they're all good. They're all good intent. Like, I love my first sergeants and my sergeant majors for sure.
Awesome. Oh man. All right, man. So, you know, I bring up Griff. He's my BFF, you know, and he's been here on the show with us, and obviously, you know him well too. So, you know, we all have a Griff story. You know, there's always a Griff story. So I'm just gonna open-ended here. What is your best Griff story?
My best Griff story. Oh God. Well, I mean, there's so many. I know. I'd say the best Griff story was how I was introduced to Griff.
There we go.
So someone was like, I was looking for an entrepreneur in Seattle to, like, come to an event or whatever when I was first kicking this thing off and not know what I'm doing. And they were like, "You got to meet Griff. You got to meet Griff." And I was like, "Okay." And finally I got his phone number, and I text. I'm like, "Hey, Griff, this is Jake Tozier, Bunker Labs, blah, 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 blah." He's like, "I'll call you in a minute." And I'm like, "Okay." So he calls me in a minute, and I could hear, like, ruckus in the background. He's like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I just got dropped off. Me and my friends in the middle of nowhere. We're fishing. And, like, by helicopter or plane. I don't know how the hell he got there." And I was just like, "Who in the hell is this guy?" And I need to meet him, and I gotta be friends with him. So that was like meeting Griff 101, if that tells you who he is. But you know, he's just, man, he's always been. We just kind of fell in love with each other. We're like bromance. I think, you know, we have that romance for each other, and he's always just been there for me. Always, you know, he's just a great friend, and he really cares. You know what I mean? He really cares about the people that he decides to be a part of. You know, and I don't take that with a grain of salt at all. But you know, it's Griff. I don't know. There's so many stories, man. Like,
no, that was good. Yeah. Dropped up. You just hear a helicopter or something, or, you know, he could have just been doing a PLF for all you know.
Who knows? Yeah.
So Jake, it sounds like you were a CH-47 pilot.
I was. Yeah, I was.
Okay. Well, you mentioned 32 passengers, so you know, I used to be an old jump master, and I knew how many guys we could put on there to sling out the ramp of that thing. But so every pilot has a call sign and nickname. What was Jake Tozier's?
Oh God, probably asshole or something. No, I think you know, I don't know. Like JT Money kind of got thrown out there a bunch of times, but I kind of use that as a handle once in a while. But you know, I think the bigger question, like I like to tell people, a lot of people ask me, like, why CH-47s, right?
Yeah.
And first of all, you have to go through selection, and that's a whole process. Some people just don't get what they want. But you know, a warrant officer friend of mine, aviator, said, go into selection and pick the mission, not the aircraft. And I approached it with that, and just being, from my enlisted days, just hearing those Chinooks come, you knew something good was happening. Like going home, mail was coming, food, something good was happening.
Yeah.
I wanted to be on the other end of that, and just I felt like, man, it'd be really great to be able to be that sound that comes, and like something good is about to happen to those guys on the ground. So, yeah,
awesome.
Nice. So, Jake, you mentioned that are you a vegetarian as well, or just your wife?
No, I tried it for a year successfully.
Because I was because my next question is that when your wife isn't looking, and you got that favorite hot sauce of yours in your pocket, where are you going, and what kind of tacos are you wolfing down?
Well, actually, we're having tacos tonight, by the way.
Okay.
No, I really like that Red Star place, that new taco joint downtown. It's really good.
Downtown Tacoma. Yeah.
And actually, the founder and CEO of that, or owner, he actually has a hot sauce company too. I think it's called Callahan's Hot Sauce. So I got to chit chat with him about that. But I don't know, man. I like putting my hot sauce on hot dogs too. So, I put hot sauce on everything, brother.
Nice. Well, dude, I don't know if you knew this or not, but I kind of throw down a little bit. I think we need to match my tacos with your hot sauce sometime, and we need to have John and his little windmill out to do the taste test. But no cilantro though. no avocado. That's what it is.
No avocado. Okay.
John doesn't do that stuff, man. There's certain things we can't have in there. But yeah, we'll throw something out there for you. But man, it's been a time, dude. I really appreciate you coming out and taking the time with us, and and sharing about entrepreneurship, your life story and Bunker Labs. And so just for our audience, if they want to get in touch with Bunker Labs and jump in and get involved, what do they have to do? Where do they have to go? And we'll pop that up on our screen right here.
Yeah. Go to bunkeronline.org and sign up for a profile. It'll be just like a social media profile, and right away you'll see on the top equip, connect, or inspire. Start going through those tabs, sign up for some programs, start talking to some people. If you want to email me personally, that's fine. jake.tozier@bunkerlabs.org. I'd love to talk to you. And then also a big announcement. So Ford Motor Company has just put us together in their, let me make sure I'm reading this right.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can find this. I don't want to mess this up here. So they're honored to serve promotion that starts the 8th of November, my birthday, this weekend. So if you tune into the Detroit Lions game this weekend, you will see Bunker Lab showcase there. So we're really fortunate to have great partners like Ford Motor Company and other great sponsors. So you can find us also on Facebook or Instagram, any kind of social media platform. Just type in Bunker Labs.
Awesome. Jake, thanks so much, brother. Yeah, you've been a treat to have on the show, and God bless you and all your success, but also the example you're providing for all veterans and transitioning service members that there's life after the uniform, and that life can be good. It's not all going to be beer and Skittles, as I said before, but you can get there. So Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, guys. You guys are doing great too. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, Jake. Have a great one, brother. We'll see you next time. And to all of you out there, thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Ron and John Show. We'll catch you next week, same time, same channel. And remember, make sure you tune in for our Spotify as well as Apple Podcasts. You can download those apps and do that search for us. Brother, you have any parting words for everybody?
Motivation Monday, every Monday, brought to you by Veterans Lending Group. It's good stuff.
All right, brother. We'll see you next week. Boom!
The Ron and John Show is brought to you by Veterans Lending Group, where we can assist you with all your home buying and refinance needs. Since we're licensed in all 50 states, we can ETS, PCS, or retire wherever you go. Check out our education classes at vahomeloanbootcamp.com for our free classes, and you can also visit our website at veteranslendinggroup.com. Make sure to follow The Ron and John Show on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Hey, folks, we hope you enjoyed our guest this week.
Thanks for tuning into The Ron and John Show, and we'll see you next week.
Woo!